Boom, shakalaka boom. You're tuned in to the free range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I am, of course, Clay Edwards, coming at you Live, live, like Kiss, alive, on 103.9 FM WYAB, the 50,000 watt blowtorch. We're going to crank it up for you. We're going to try to stay on the air all throughout. And they ain't going to try to. We going to be on the air one way or another. Come hell, snow, sleet, ice, rain, we're going to be him. Anyway, we're live this morning. It's the FAFO Friday. Don't forget everything over at the merch shop. All the FAFO merch, the hottest stuff in the land. It'll keep you warm, even though you won't have it by the weekend. If you did, it would defrost you. So anyway, I'm having a good time this morning. Swing by the merch shop, buyfafo.com. Everything's 50% off. Help your brother out. Help me sell some of this stuff I'm sitting on. And I'll throw you in a couple free stickers with it. All the FAFO stickers. I'll write you a nice little thank you card and all that good stuff. And you'll look awesome out there in your merch, like my boy Nathan Rushing did yesterday. Shout out to Nathan Rushing. He was at the Sam's Club in Pearl when a big fight broke out, wearing his FAFO hoodie. He was the star of the show because of the hoodie. Went viral. If I got tagged once, I got tagged a million times. Clay, have you seen this? No, I haven't seen that. You did not look at my Facebook page before you tagged me on Facebook asking me if I'd seen it. Because if you had looked at my Facebook page, you would know I'd seen it. No, I kid y'all. I kid. I don't expect everybody to go look at my Facebook page before they send me anything. But, yeah, shout out to Nathan Rushing wearing the FAFO hoodie yesterday at Sam's Club, breaking up a fight. A little white trash brawl for it all. Looked like a domestic dispute of sorts. I mean, look, I love my folks in Pearl. We've come a long way in our relationship. But if you told me that there was two white people fighting at a grocery store somewhere in central Mississippi, and you'd give me $1 million if I had to guess where, Pearl would be my first answer. I'm just saying. Like I said, we've come a long way. Y'all know I love Pearl. Shout out to Mayor Jake. Shout out to all the guys over there in Pearl. Shout out to Jonathan Boone at the barbershop. But if I had to guess where there was going to be a domestic dispute in public between white folks, I would have guessed Pearl, Mississippi. But it's okay. At least you ain't shooting each other. It could always be worse. It could always be worse. Oh, man, good morning to everybody on the Mazda Jackson live stream. We've got a lively bunch over there already. Man, got 31 people in the chat already. That's awesome. It's only 3 minutes into the show. Only 3 minutes in. You can watch the Mazda Jackson live stream, partake in it, jump in the chat, all that good stuff. Get your chat read on the show. You can even drop me a super chat if you want. That's a little digital tip for as much as you want. I think the cheapest is $1.99, and if you want to pay more than that, you are welcome to. We are coin operated here on the show. You got something you want to promote? Got an event? Got a website? The best way to sneak it in here on the Clay Edwards Show is to drop it in on the live chat with a little super chat. I will gladly push it for you. I got to read the super chats. I can't help what they say. Well, barring anything explicit, of course. That's it. At SaveJXN on YouTube, X, or Rumble. The super chats are only on YouTube, by the way. So just throwing that out there. Look, I had a guest lined up this morning that was going to jump in with us in the 7 o'clock hour. Dan Carr. He's been on the show before. Southern Baptist preacher down there on the coast. Very heavily involved in politics. We were going to have a great conversation this morning about what was going on up there in Minneapolis with the church attacks, the BLM attacking. It was a terrorist attack. Made no mistake about it. What they did was a terrorist attack. If you terrorize, you create terror, you are a terrorist. Period. That was a BLM domestic terrorist attack. Because, BLM is in fact a domestic terrorist group. Period. And, you know what? I ain't going to get lost in semantics. BLM is Black Lives Matter is a terrorist group. It's a racist terrorist group. Period. Point blank in the discussion. If there was a group called White Lives Matter, there'd be no nuance. We wouldn't say, well, there's White Lives Matter because all lives matter, right? Even white ones. And then there's White Lives Matter Incorporated. Those are the racist. No, we're not going to play that game. Black Lives Matter Incorporated, Black Lives Matter LLC, and anybody that says Black Lives Matter, that's racist. We're going to call balls and strikes here on the Clay Edwards Show. Balls and strikes, and I just threw 3 strikes. You're out of here. Period. Point blank in the discussion. So, racist terrorist group BLM attacked a church. Predominantly white, frankly, we'll just say predominantly white, Southern Baptist Church up there in St. Paul, Minnesota. City's church. Apparently they believe that the pastor works for ICE. And that's been the hilarious part of this is like this has been their justification of this. Like in their warped minds. They got on CNN and said that. They got on all these news outlets and they said that. Yeah, but the pastor works for ICE. I don't care what he does. It's not illegal to work for ICE. He's not a leader of a drug cartel. He's not a gang member. He's a federal employee. Who, by the last time I checked, the overwhelming majority of federal employees were a bunch of woke nut jobs. Minus some in the law enforcement sector. That's why we created Doge and fired a bunch of y'all's asses. I mean, D.C., Maryland, that tri-state area, whatever they call that up there, Virginia, Maryland, D.C., that whole little area, those are all super blue areas because it's inundated with federal employees. Trump talked about that the other day, when he was talking about jobs, when he did his on the 1-year anniversary on January 20th, when he was, kind of recapping all the stuff that his administration has done. The Trump administration has created real jobs. The Biden administration just hired more federal employees and called that jobs. But if you're paying them, it's not really, federal jobs shouldn't count, in my opinion, towards the job numbers. That shouldn't count. If the federal government taking taxpayer money and paying people to do stuff, that should not, now it is a job that pays your bills, yes. I'm not saying don't go work for the government. The government needs to hire people, needs good people to do good job, do good work. We don't need bureaucrats. We don't need 20 people to do one job, 20,000 people to do one job, whatever crazy stuff they had come up with. Anyway, so they just kept saying, I'm about to go down a rabbit hole there. They just kept saying, yeah, but this pastor works for ICE. Again. And of course, that hasn't been, I don't even know if that's been proven, disproven. I haven't seen any stone cold facts on that. But that's been their justification the whole time. It's like, and the pastor they were talking about, Easterwood, he wasn't even the one that was at the pulpit. It was like the associate pastor that was at the pulpit. Because the girl was like, or Don Lemon, or one of them was like, when I said David Easterwood's name, oh, it was the black girl, the one that went on CNN the night before she got arrested. Delicious. So delicious. She goes, I asked, the minute I brought up Pastor Easterwood's name, he started saying I had to take care of my flock or something along those lines. And that's when we started saying, hands up, don't shoot, and Renee Good, and all this other nonsense. So, it's just crazy. They're so brainwashed that they literally think that the ICE is a modern day KKK, when in fact, they're the modern day KKK. The Black Klan, the Antifa Klan. It ain't ICE storming churches. It's BLM storming churches. It's white Karens. Trump coded. MAGA coded. That's their new word is MAGA coded. Am I MAGA coded? What can I do to be more MAGA coded? Because I don't want y'all to ever mistake me for being liberal coded, for being BLM coded, So MAGA coded, and for y'all that don't perpetually live online, this is a phrase that let's ask Grok exactly what MAGA coded means. I know, but I'm just curious what the smart definition of this would be. What does MAGA coded mean? Because y'all know Don Lemon had said that when he rolled up to him when he met the BLM terrorist, because he's one too, allegedly, of course. When he met them, he goes, yes, they're MAGA coded. We have our white allies and we have American flags, so they're going to think we're MAGA. Now I'm going to tell you, I don't randomly see white people and just automatically assume, MAGA. Let me see if they know the secret handshake. Everybody knows the secret handshake. All true MAGA know the secret handshake. Here's what it says. MAGA coded is slang term that originated on social media and has spread to broader discussions. It refers to something or someone that embodies or subtly signals traits, aesthetics, behaviors, or ideologies in the secret handshake associated with the Make America Great Again movement, Donald Trump's political slogan, its supporters, without it explicitly stating it. For instance, a person might be described as MAGA coded if they display characteristics like strong patriotism, anti-elite sentiments, or support for certain policies that align with Trump's base, even if they don't openly declare themselves as MAGA. The term coded is general slang, means exemplifying the typical qualities of a group or stereotype, similar to saying someone is a cat lover coded. If I ever hear somebody say, a cat lover coded, I'm slapping the poo-poo out of you. Never, those three words, unless you're reading it like I am right now, should never come out of your mouth. Cat lover coded. So it says a group or stereotype similar to someone saying is cat lover coded. What a strange analogy to make here, Grok. It says if they act in ways that would suggest they adore cats without saying so. What would be a trait that suggested you loved cats without saying so? Oh, I know. The single, angry, liberal cat woman. Let me guess. I love cats, by the way. I used to not. My ex-girlfriend had one that lived with me, and I liked the cat more than I liked her. Did I just say that? So, hold on. I'm putting somebody on hold on the phone line. So, coded cat lover, a cat lover coded, well, purple hair, 400 pounds, single, couldn't get bumped at 3:30 in the morning walking out of Pops and running into a drunk Clay Edwards in 2005. Bull ring through the nose, gay. Then there's normal people that just like cats. But, most people don't wear a look that would suggest they're cat lover coded. But there are, in fact, people who do wear a look that would suggest they're cat lover coded. I bet Renee Good was a cat lover. Let's take a call real quick, then we got to take a break. Hey, you're on there?
Yes, sir. Clay, what's up?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome, man. How you doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
Man, love your show. Listen,
Thank you.
And I just want to respond about that civil right at the riot at the church.
Sure.
Imagine, I'm a black man, and can you imagine if a group of white folks had invaded a black church?
Oh yeah, man. I've been saying that all week. Could you? I said just imagine if just white and black conservatives, not just white folks, but white and black conservatives decided to go protest to storm a mosque in Jackson, a synagogue. We just saw a synagogue get burned down in Jackson. We saw how swiftly justice got served to that young man that did it.
Right. But what kind of language they be using had they invaded a black church? Had they invaded a black church? That's what I'm saying. What they say, rules for thee and not for me kind of thing. It's like, man, if something is wrong anywhere, it's wrong everywhere, So now to try to justify that, that was just shocking to me as a as a Christian man, as an American. I mean, and then what's so crazy is that they're fighting against taking out illegal immigrants who are doing committing crimes. I mean, we're talking about pedophiles and rapists and just it's insane that that's what they're choosing to defend and support, while their citizens who may be struggling and suffering are still struggling and suffering. Anyway, that's just very disappointing to me to see that. I mean, and I'm so afraid for Americans, young people who've been indoctrinated to think that this kind of stuff is okay, because it isn't.
No, look, great, great call. Really good to hear it from you. Appreciate you listening, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's always great when it's one thing when Clay Edwards says that. To hear a black man in Jackson, Mississippi call in and say that. Could you imagine what would happen if a bunch of white people stormed a black church? The outrage. So thank you so much for co-signing on that, because it's one thing for me to say it. It's another thing to hear you say it. So I do appreciate the call, and I definitely appreciate you listening to the show. All right, let's take a break real quick. Come back. It's all gas, no breaks this morning. It's an FAFO Friday. Coming up at 8:25, we're going to have Rep. Fred Shanks join us for our weekly What's Going On at the Capitol segment. And we're going to discuss the NIL for high school players bill. We're going to discuss a big, nasty, mean text from some dark out-of-state money involved in school choice that has been attacking Fred and other local conservatives that voted against the big, beautiful disaster school choice bill. We'll be right back here on The Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back in to The Clay Edwards Show on a FAFO Friday. Hey, real quick, Cypress Point Resort this weekend. It ain't time to hunker down yet, guys. It's going to be Sunday before all the hunkering down begins here in central Mississippi. So don't go locking Katie barring yourself in the house just yet. So let's not overreact. You got till Sunday. So that means you can go out, you can have a good time tonight. Don't freak out. Calm down. Get out to Cypress Point Resort. Tonight you got T.J. Burnham live in the tavern. It's attached to the steakhouse. It's like you're in best way I can describe it. Imagine being in Boulder, Colorado, or somewhere like that. I don't know. Aspen. It's like a ski lodge / hunting lodge. Really cool. Really long room, kind of narrow. Got a bar that runs the whole distance. Probably about 150 feet worth of bar. I don't know, long. However long it is. It's awesome is what it is. Anyway, that's the tavern. We got one of the best whiskey selections in America back there. Bourbon selections, whatever you want to call it. Let's see here. Over in Cameron's Garage, you got Skip McDonald and Wayne Chaney and Mike Mathis. A little triple threat show tonight. Those are always fun. Saturday, you got Rick Morea and Jay Wadsworth in the tavern. And awesome band that I've seen once or twice now around town, Misspent Youth, Saturday night inside Cameron's Garage. So y'all get out to Cypress Point Resort this weekend for all your live entertainment, fine dining, and good times. And look, don't forget today, the plate lunch special is, in fact, the ribeye steak sandwich. That's right. Cooked to order ribeye steak on a homemade bun, served with your preferred side, fries, onion rings, whatever else they offer. Sometimes I get half fries, half onion rings. Just mix it up a little bit. Anyway, swing by, grab that for lunch today from 11 to 2, and or get back out there tonight and enjoy a steak dinner or in the tavern or seafood, and good times, live music, all that great stuff on in the tavern. And, of course, they'll have the games on this weekend, weather permitting. Is the NFC and AFC championship both on Sunday now? They used to have those. They used to split the NFC and AFC championship games up. Let's see here. Let me pull it up real quick. NFL schedule. Are both games Sunday this year? Let's see. I got it right here. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, both games are Sunday. So, yet to be determined, we'll say. YTD on who's going to be open, who's going to be closed, and what's going to be going on Sunday. So it's going to be very dependent on if this storm goes a little north of us or not. Not looking good right now, but we shall see. Speaking of this real quick, I want to do my picks. You got the Patriots at the Broncos. The Broncos got Jarrett Stidham, backup quarterback. Hadn't taken a snap all year, but he is a good quarterback. I like Jarrett Stidham. And I like a great story. Don't we all? We don't get these great stories too often, but let's not forget. Nick Foles was the backup quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles a couple years ago. Went to the Super Bowl and beat, who did they beat the Chiefs or did they beat the Patriots? Or either one of them. Oh, real quick, I'll circle back to that. You've also got, so I'm thinking, I'm not picking against the line here. I'm just picking to win. Now, my brain says take the Patriots. And the Patriots are probably going to win. But I don't always pick with my brain. I pick with my heart sometimes. And that's why I probably have an overall losing gambling record. However, I'm going to take the Broncos at home to win. And you're going to go into the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback. Because, the Broncos are still a great team. And they were a great team without, Bo Nix is a good quarterback. He ain't a great quarterback. But you don't have to be great when you're on a great team. So I'm going to take the Broncos to win in the AFC. And then over in the NFC, man, I tell you, this is going to be a hell of a game. It's the third time they're meeting this year. They're in the division together. You got the Rams at the Seahawks. I love both of these quarterbacks. I hate both of these cities. I hate Los Angeles. I hate Seattle. But I do like both of their football teams. So, because I like the coach. I like the quarterback for both teams. I love Sam Darnold. I love the Sam Darnold story. He was I want to say he was a number 2 overall pick a few years ago, and he kind of got punted from team to team to team. I think he won 12 or 14 games or something last year with the Vikings, lost a playoff game when they shipped him off because they had drafted another quarterback. And how did that work out? They're not in the playoffs this year. Sam Darnold goes to Seattle. They're the number 1 overall seed. I love a story like that. So then you got Matt Stafford over at the Rams. I love Matt Stafford. Going back to his days at Georgia, he's allegedly the greatest player in Texas high school football history, best quarterback anyway. That's saying something. So I've kind of hitched my wagon to the Rams. I said that's who I'm pulling for because I want to see Stafford get another Super Bowl ring. Because I want him to be I want him to go down as one of the best. And 2 Super Bowls with everything else that he's done. And all the record, all the yards that he's thrown for, touchdowns, all those bad years in Detroit. He deserves this late in his career. Kind of like John Elway. So I'd like to see him win another one. So I'm gonna pick with my heart, not my brain here. My heart says Matthew Stafford. But don't be the least bit surprised if Sam Darnold and the Seahawks win. And I'll say this, whoever wins, I think the NFC champion is the Super Bowl champion. So whoever wins out of the Rams and Seahawks, they're going to beat the AFC team. I'm just not bought into the Patriots yet. They play in a really bad division other than the Bills. I said, I'm just not bought in all the way with them. We'll see. And even if they go out and beat the Broncos, I'm still not going to be bought in because they're beating a backup quarterback, and that can go either way. So we'll see. Anyway, that was your sports picks here on the Clay Edwards Show. I know that's what y'all tune in for. Let's take a break real quick, come back, and let's give out why don't we give out some FAFO championships here on a Friday morning? Spoiler alert, you probably already know who the 3 people are that are getting it, but we're going to give it to them anyway. We'll be right back here on the Clay Edwards Show today. Hey, if you want to advertise, email me, clay@wyab.com. clay@wyab.com. We'll be right back. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. Hey, guys, if you're looking for something to do tonight, Acme Pizza and Daiquiris, our very own Chris Davis here at WYAB.com. Here at WYAB, will be out there performing live tonight. Chris will actually be coming up next after me on the show today from 9 to 10 with his Arts and Blues Hour, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield. So stay tuned in for that if you don't know who his guest is this week. But either way, be a good show, and get out there to the new Acme Pizza and Daiquiris. They're on the reservoir, literally on the reservoir, right next to Pelican Cove and Cockatoo Walk. What do they call that place? Beethoven's Boardwalk. And check it out tonight. Chris Davis from WYAB. Hey, also, I know we beat it up a little bit yesterday, but there's certain times and certain sponsors I think that it's great to highlight. And, well, the liquor store on a Friday is a great time to highlight 042 Wine and Spirits. Especially going into the weekend with an ice storm that could shut us down for a couple of days. So swing by 042 Wine and Spirits. Stock up on all your favorite bourbons, whiskeys, scotches, gins, vodkas, and more. They got it all there. Tequila, Fireball, Jägermeister. Me and my bros got new haircuts. Jägermeister, Red Bull, Jäger Bombs, Red Bull. Anyway, that's a whole funny YouTube video. My new haircut. Skanks. Anyway, that's one of the funniest videos of all time. If y'all haven't seen that, y'all need to go to YouTube and type in my new haircut and watch the original, not the remix. It's the original My New Haircut video. It is friggin' hilarious. But anyway, man, swing by 042, locally owned, locally operated, right there next to Sonny's Barbecue, Highway 80, Crossgates, Brandon. All right, man, let's see here. FAFO championships this morning. If y'all were tuning in for real news, I apologize. No, this is real news. It's just not, professional, high grade news, so to say. But here we go. We got them. We got them, boys and girls. We caught the tater. I guess it was on yesterday's show that they started making the announcements that these fools have been arrested. Now, unfortunately, the tater salad here, the white boy, he didn't get arrested till by the time I got home yesterday. But the two black girls, the leaders of Black Lives Matter Minnesota and St. Paul's, there's two different Black Lives Matter chapters there. They have both been arrested. I don't know their names off the top of my head. I didn't copy and paste them, but I know the white guy's name's William Kelly. Goes by DA Woke Farmer. It looks like the meth head is what he looks like. He's going to have a good time in jail. I wonder why his voice is so annoying. You think he's maybe got some damage from shoving something too far down his throat or something or another? I don't know what that could possibly be. What could he be shoving down his throat to cause damage to his voice box? But cucumbers or something possibly? I don't know. But anyway, very annoying voice. But if that's the case, he'll enjoy jail. Federal prison. He'll enjoy it. But these are your effed around and found out grand champions right here. And don't you love it? I mean, those smirks wiped right off their faces. And I know if you're listening on radio, you're not seeing this, but I'm seeing it. And it's making my day much better. Making my day much, much better. I mean, these are domestic terrorists, homegrown domestic terrorists. I want that same energy. What would y'all be calling this if these were MAGA coded? You'd be calling them homegrown, domestic terrorist, hate group, racisms, all that stuff. I just want that same energy. So I'm going to give it to you because I know our statewide media, our local media here our local mainstream media, they're not going to call it that. They're not going to call a spade a spade. They're going to call them social justice protesters, anti-racist protesters, anti-ICE protesters. No. They're terrorists. Homegrown, domestic terrorists that are affiliated with a known hate group. But Clay, Black Lives Matter is not on the ACLU or the Southern Poverty Law Center's list of known hate groups because they're hate groups too. And they share the same philosophy, the same goals, common enemies. MAGA-coded folks. The Ellis Autoplex text line, 769-241-19FOFO. 769-241-1944. Let's see here. First text of the day. Actually, we got two texts. First one I'm reading says, I nearly thought Ron White had been arrested saying tater salad. You got the tater. You know it's great. The other text says, I love cats. They're awesome. Liberal women aren't. Touche. What's great is there's a video compilation of DeWoke Farmer challenging Pam Bondi to come arrest him. Well, then, Pam Bondi did just that. And look, say what we want about Pam Bondi. She ain't having the best year ever. But I will definitely take this. I mean, I'm going to let Pam get the win. I'm going to let Pam dance on these graves a little bit. She deserves it. Say what you want. I'm going to give him a little grace today. But now where I am upset is Don Lemon, the magistrate there, the federal magistrate there in Minneapolis or in Minnesota would not sign the charges on Don Lemon when he clearly was just as big of a part of this hate group, this terror cell here in America. I mean, he walked right in that church knowing exactly what he was doing. Outside agitators. You know, that's what they called that's what they called white liberals that used to come down here in the South back in the civil rights era to protest civil rights. The Ross Barnett and the governor from over there in Alabama that was so racist or whatever. They used to call them outside agitators. I love saying it just like that too when I talk about these fools. Outside agitators. You got to put that oomph on it. Let's take a call. Good morning. You're on there.
Hey, morning, Clay. It's Scott.
Hey, Scott.
So, I hadn't gone back and looked. I'm sure it'd be pretty easy to look up. I'd like to see what the turnaround time was in the Merrick Garland term for J6ers. How quickly did they, have their first indictments for J6ers, and how quickly did they have their first convictions? That way we can kind of get an idea of the turnaround time compared to the, Pam Bondi, Attorney General.
That's a good point.
One of the problems that she's got is, she could bring charges just as quick as Garland did, but you just said with Don Lemon, when it gets to the court, it's not going to go anywhere in so many of these, especially anything are in the D.C. area. That's the problem, is that we see that Merrick Garland clearly had, plenty of options for judges to make it easy for him to pull the trigger quick without any real evidence of anything, just the accusation alone, and then just lock you up forever while they're, putting their little case together and doing waiting on the trial date and all that. Pretty much, it is one-sided once you start to deal with the judge. So I think Bondi's doing, she's got to know that. She's not stupid, right?
Yeah. Well, now to go to so I asked Sean, our resident legal analyst, I asked him, so what's next? What are the next options for the federal government to arrest Don Lemon? He's like, a magistrate, that's if you want to arrest them before it's gone to a grand jury, I guess, before they've been charged, or however you want to word it properly. But so now to go to a grand jury, and Sean was like, good luck getting a grand jury to sign off on this in Minneapolis. I was like, well, it's grand jury, federal grand juries are statewide, right? He's like, yes. I was like, well, then we got a pretty good chance, because outside of Minneapolis, Minnesota is actually a pretty red state. So depending on the makeup of the grand jury, we got a good chance of Don Lemon getting what's it called? Not acquitted, indicted by grand jury. Indicted, yeah, getting indicted by the grand jury.
Yeah, but you see, she has to go through the whole
Oh, yeah.
to the whole deal. And then there's still no guarantee on the grand jury what the numbers are going to look like. I mean, it is still randomly, I mean, it's just pulled from the voter rolls like everything else.
Sure. But here's my question, Scott, is what did they see? Because the magistrate clearly signed off on the 2 black women that they arrested and the woke farmer, the William Kelly guy. What did they see with them that they didn't see with Don Lemon?
It's probably the concern is if they couldn't make a direct connection that he was specifically an organizer, then, it's like you happen to be there, Clay, and you're like, well, I mean, what kind of idiot would I be for the Clay Edwards show if I didn't get my phone out and start recording, doing some interviews and actually cover this?
Yeah, but you got
video.
It's
that freedom of press aspect that's the only thing I can speak of.
Yeah, but you got
I'm not saying it's what it is.
But we got video of Don Lemon with them before they go there, saying that they're fixing to go there. And so he knew what they were going to do. So, I mean, I get what you're saying.
But that doesn't mean he organized it. I mean, that
you don't have to.
I don't.
You don't have to organize it. My buddies, and we've seen this happen plenty of times. My buddies can say, "Hey, jump in the car. We're going to go do something." All right, let's go. And they go in, rob a bank, come back out, and we haul ass. I'm going to jail for being in that car, even though I didn't rob that bank.
Yeah, but if you're press, I mean,
even if I'm press,
J6, there were plenty of people in press. Press that were at J6, and they didn't get arrested when those barriers went down and those crisis actors started attacking the Capitol. I mean, they didn't go after the press.
Oh, they did some. Didn't Owen Schroyer went to jail? They tried to lock up Alex Jones. I mean, so they went from a lack of effort.
Well, yeah, but again, that's my fault with this magistrate is that if you can't, just because he had prior knowledge, I mean, he's still just covering it. He's still just a guy, covering it.
See, I feel like he was doing more than covering it. When you walk up there and you start harassing the pastor and stuff, you're partaking in it. Hey.
Oh yeah, look, he's an organizer.
Yeah,
he was an organizer, but they've got to make that case, I think, and I think they should be able to.
Yeah.
There's enough reasonable suspicion to be able to at least get an indictment, make the case against them, get his phone records, email records, whatever it is. They should be able to do that.
Let a jury of his peers decide it. He needs to spend some money on some attorneys. Scott, I got to take my break, brother.
All right.
Peace out. Have a great weekend. We'll be right back. Land the plane for hour 1. This is the Clay Edwards Show. Shout out to Justin in the live chat on the Mazda Jackson live stream for the $4.20 super chat. We'll be right back. All right, let's chat for a second here. Let's see. Pull the chats back up. Thank you, Justin, for the super chat, my brother. Thank you. Did y'all like the cucumber? Did y'all like the cucumber comment? I was trying to be as clean as I could there on the radio and still be able to call him a dick sucker. So I got a chuckle out of that. I got a chuckle. Sometimes I'm just performing to an audience of one, myself. Yes, Shane. Who is going to win the Royal Rumble? I will definitely be watching that. You got that. You also got the UFC fight this weekend. It's a great sports weekend. You got the UFC moving to Paramount Plus, so we don't have to pay $80 to watch it. You've got the Royal Rumble. You've got AFC, NFC Championship. I'm just hoping that the power don't go out Sunday and I can't watch the football games. I will watch them. I'll have it on a damn iPad, cell phone, one way or another. I'm watching football. One way or another. Now, who's going to win the Rumble? Who is the betting favorite to win the Rumble? Let's see. Who is betting? Let's ask Grok. Betting fave to win Royal Rumble. See, when they took the belt off of Cody the other day and put it on Drew McIntyre, I mean, it's a complete shakeup. I don't know. I mean, they completely reset the storylines. I mean, who's going to pick CM Punk? Or is somebody going to pick CM Punk? Is somebody going to pick Drew? Are they going to take the belt off Drew at the Elimination Chamber? Lots of they shook all the storylines up at the top. I love it because it was way too predictable. I didn't want to see Roman Cody 3. Grok is still analyzing and processing the data here. And I'm just talking about the men's. I guess it's going to give us a betting favorite for men's and women's. Let me make sure we ain't coming back from the break yet either. All right, we got a couple minutes before we come back. All right, so the men's Royal Rumble favorite, Roman Reigns, is the clear overall betting favorite to win the men's match, listed at around plus 125 to 150, implying a 40 to 50% chance of victory. Braun Breaker is second. So Braun could win and challenge CM Punk and then win the title at WrestleMania in the main event. That's it. That is what I'm taking there. I'm taking Braun Breaker. I like that one because they're trying to make a new star. They need to make a new star. The guys at the top of the card are a little older. You need to start using those old established guys to actually make some new stars. The next level, the next group of main eventers. So I like that. But Sami Zayn is third. Cody Rhodes is fourth. Gunther is fifth to win. I think you're going to see Gunther and AJ Styles in a retirement match. I know they're doing that this weekend. I think AJ wins. And then they go into WrestleMania, career versus career. And you see Gunther retire AJ Styles. All right, we're getting ready to come back from the break real quick. I got to shut up. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. Here live in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness in Mississippi studios, where you can always text Clay to 601-800-5130 and get a complimentary testosterone screening scheduled for within a couple days of when you text them. I was going to say today, but it ain't going to happen today. Probably ain't going to happen Monday. But Mississippi's going to be closed for a few days. We'll open back up Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. But we're going to be closed for a couple days around here. All right, man. If you weren't watching online, we discussed who is going to win the Royal Rumble this weekend. Great sports weekend here in America, assuming we got power to watch it all. Saturday, you got the Royal Rumble taking place outside of the United States for the first time over there in Saudi Arabia. You got the UFC's first fight on Paramount Plus, their first kind of free pay-per-view. If you got Paramount Plus for like $13, $14 a month, you don't have to pay the $80 to watch the UFC. You got some really good fights there Saturday night. So Saturday you got the Royal Rumble and UFC, and then Sunday you got the AFC NFC Championship games. They're going to do gangbuster ratings. Everybody snowed in. We'll be right back here on the Clay Edwards Show. All right, guys, I got to use the restroom. I'll be right back. I want to pick this sports conversation back up here during the break, read some of your chats. Don't go nowhere. Boom goes La Dynamite. It's hour two, the most incendiary show on the RADIO, the Clay Edwards Show, here live in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios on 103.9 FM, WYAB. Streaming worldwide on the Mazda Jackson live stream and Stunning HD. This morning, we're on X, we're on YouTube, and we're on Rumble. Just type in Save JXN, and you can watch it on demand at any time. It's a beautiful FAFO Friday as we head into a cold weekend here in central Mississippi. And luckily, we ain't in North Mississippi or Tennessee or Arkansas. It could always be worse. It could always be worse. So, I hope y'all got out. I hope you're prepared. I hope you got everything you need to go a couple of days, potentially without power or longer, depending on where you live, if power does go out. So fingers crossed it goes just north of us, and we miss it out. Maybe we miss out on the worst part of this. But anyway, with all that said, let's see here. It is the Men's Health and Women's Wellness in Mississippi studios. Guys, I just can't emphasize enough y'all going out and taking advantage of this free testosterone screening. I just want to run down a quick little list of things that could be affected by low testosterone. Y'all don't pay no attention to that number on the screen. It's wrong. But fatigue, decreased muscle tone, lack of energy, low libido, brain fog, sleep disturbances. Libido is your sex drive. You got a low sex drive right now? Then you probably need testosterone if you don't want a low sex drive. I don't want to meet the person that wants a low sex drive. Anyway, I don't trust. If you tell me I want a low sex drive, I don't trust you. There's something wrong with you. Anyway, if that morning wood ain't there every morning, you got low testosterone. Whether you want to use it or not, you got low testosterone. It's a sure sign. So swing by, or not swing by, text Clay to 601-800-5130. Oh, real quick, also, let's see. Well, we'll hit a few other things before we get out of here. Guys, I need y'all to quit doing something. MAGA-coded people. Y'all got to quit doing this. Y'all are messing up ICE's, the anti-ICE protest. Y'all have found a way to sabotage these things, and what you're doing is you're getting anti-ICE protesters beat up by bikers. Clay, how you do? Clay, how are we doing that? What are us MAGA-coded people doing to get these nincompoops beat up by bikers? How do we have any control of that? Well, I'm glad you asked. According to the Blue Lives Matter Facebook page, and I heard some rumbles about this on Salty Cracker last night, that MAGA-coded individuals had hijacked that app that these nut jobs have created to notify these crazy people where ICE were making bust so they could go run interference. Apparently, MAGA-coded individuals are sending in fake reports, and they're driving the nut jobs. They're diverting them to the wrong place so ICE can do their job. Well, apparently, last night across the country, a situation has unfolded. Let me just read this post here. It's rather long, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. But it says, we have a pretty huge update and confession about this whole report ICE activity hotline situation. See, there's also hotlines set up everywhere. I shared this to my Facebook. About 1 a.m., we had some reports come in from numerous states that there had been incidents at a number of biker bars last night. It turns out that report ICE activity hotlines had received tips about off-duty ICE agents drinking at dozens of bars. Those bars just so happen to be biker bars owned and frequented by individuals who haven't always been on the right side of the law. ICE protesters were alerted and given the addresses of these bars. According to friends of ours across the country, Beta, Soy Boy, Gender Fluid Communist, Mill Team Sixers showed up with their F-ICE flags and tried barging into the bars. Except there were no ICE agents drinking there. As a wise man once said, now, yous can't leave. To clarify, we absolutely did not report those addresses to the report ICE activity hotlines. That's ridiculous, guys. What kind of people do you think we are? He goes, nah, we simply provided the report ICE activity hotlines to the good old boys that drink at those bars and asked them if they wanted to have a fun night. Hey, lefties, we've been warning you there would be a time when the people who just wanted to be left alone got off the sidelines. Keep going, children. We're in this for the long haul, and we're really, really good at it. If you have a phone or fingers to type, you can get in the fight and help protect ICE and law enforcement. Below, you'll find the report ICE activity hotlines. And I shared those. Let me share these to the big Facebook page. I shared them to my personal. So if y'all want to go to Save JXN on Facebook, you can find these phone numbers and have some fun with these cucks, these communists, these terrorists, these BLM sympathizers, these Somali pirate sympathizers. Be an outside agitator. I may be. I'm going to be an outside agitator. I'm typing my little FAFO alert thing that I put on top of my post. All right, here we go. I encourage everybody to be an outside agitator, except not against the police, against the anti-ICE nut jobs. But do not go to a blue state and do it. They are going to lock you up there. You'll be an inside agitator real quick. We got Fred Shanks coming up in hour 2. Not hour two. It's already hour two. We got Fred Shanks coming up in the next segment at 8:25. Let's check the text line, the Ellis Autoplex text line here, see what we got going on there. Pull it up here real quick. Steven says Don Lemon must be arrested also. Absolutely. This is all going to be for naught if we can't arrest Don Lemon. I mean, look, the woke farmer, the two black girls, that's great. That's delicious. Chef's kiss. But Don Lemon's got to be charged under the KKK Act. That's got to happen. We got to have that perp walk. I need Don Lemon's mugshot on a T-shirt. Stat. Got to happen. Got to happen. This country needs healing. And Don Lemon being charged with the KKK Act, that we can start to really heal. Black Lives Matter protesters being arrested in Minneapolis, Minnesota under the KKK Act, that is delicious. I mean, y'all got to admit, that's delicious. I didn't have it on my bingo card for 2026. I didn't. I truly did not have it on my bingo card. But man, oh man, am I glad it ended up there. This is what I voted for. So, all right, something I've been sitting on for a couple of days I want to hit. Speaking of what I voted for. To all my folks out there that are just ate up with Epstein list derangement syndrome. People who are saying, I can't believe Trump isn't exposing the Epstein list. I'm done with Trump over this Epstein list stuff. We need to have a real conversation about this, because some of us have been talking about this Epstein list when y'all told us that it didn't exist. You told us it was a lie. It was a conspiracy theory. It was QAnon rage bait. Now, I still believe that there is an Epstein list. I still know for a fact that politicians on the left and the right were doing bad things to minors on that island. Now, I also believe those minors weren't 5, 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old kids. I think they were somewhat willing participants in what was going on out there in some form, fashion, or another. I do believe that. Now, they were minors, yes, and that's wrong, and I'm not justifying anything, but I think there's levels to this. I think we can all agree on that, whether you want to or not. But we got to ask ourselves, are you so ate up with this Epstein derangement syndrome that you would rather have Kamala Harris as president right now? Because let's be honest. What happened at Epstein Island? It's gross. There's no denying that. And all those people, I hope, let me quote Samuel L. Jackson. Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell. Just make sure we're on the same page here. I don't care who all was involved. If they were involved, I hope they die, and they deserve to burn in hell. I can't think of a worse thing I could possibly say about somebody that did something. So let me get that out there. But with that said, none of that affects any of our day-to-day lives on any level. Does not affect us one way or another. Would it be satisfying to know? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think no matter what you find out about it, it's going to be disappointment. Because I just don't think you're ever going to be happy with the names that you get on there. Because this thing has been built up so much that you just think that everybody's got a billionaire. Everybody's a billionaire. Everybody's a famous politician. Y'all have created, this thing's become mythical. And I think you're going to be very disappointed to find out it's just a bunch of sick, rich perverts and politicians on there that you might not be that familiar with. I digress. My point being, while I'm disappointed that the Epstein list has been a bit of a nothing sandwich, a nothing burger, I'm still overwhelmingly happy with the things that Donald Trump has accomplished and is accomplishing, what ICE is doing. Did y'all think that it was going to be pretty? When we told you there was 20 million illegal aliens in this country and we were going to we were going to get them out of here? Y'all didn't think that we were going to have to rip some families apart? You didn't think that there was going to be a couple American citizens who get detained until we figure out if they're American citizens or not? Did y'all think it was going to be pretty? Did you think we were going to be able to do it with the precision of a surgeon's blade and not a battering ram? No. It was always going to be ugly. The optics were always going to be bad. I'm talking about kind of juggling two different things here. But I am okay. If I got to pick my poison, I am okay with the job Trump's doing and us never finding out who's on that Epstein list versus Kamala Harris being president. You still never finding out who's on that Epstein list and the border still being wide ass open. Y'all got to learn to appreciate the things that you have and quit overly focusing on the things that you don't. There is nobody that had a chance of being president right now that was ever going to release the Epstein list. We got the best man that we could possibly have as president right now. Epstein list or no Epstein list. Clearing all these illegal immigrants out of here, that affects my day-to-day life, your day-to-day life, everybody's day-to-day life. Way more than who was banging some underage girls on an island owned by a sick billionaire. And that's just the cold, hard facts. Some of y'all got to learn to be happy with what you got. Let's take a break. Come back. We're going to have Fred Shanks on the phone with us, discussing everything going on at the Capitol. I could talk another hour about you, a bunch of ungrateful bastards and this whole Epstein list versus Trump stuff. Yeah, I'm fired up about it. Yeah, I've been fighting the Epstein fight for 5, 6, 7 years. And all you Johnny-come-latelys that told us all it was just a conspiracy theory, that there ain't no Epstein list. But now suddenly, because you may think Donald Trump's on it, or you are just so ate up with it that you think there's got to be a reason he's hiding it. There's a reason he's hiding it. But you'll never convince me it's because he's on it. If Donald Trump was anywhere near being literally on the list, on the client's list, we would already know. We would already know. And if y'all are too stupid to know that, I got some oceanfront property down there in Jackson, Mississippi I need to sell you. They're going to build a casino on it. We'll be right back. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. This segment is going to be brought to you, this interview with Fred Shanks is going to be brought to you by Mazda of Jackson. Guys, get over there to Mazda of Jackson today and chart your new course in a 2025 CX-5. Price to move with 0.9% financing for 72 months with approved credit, of course. And look, that's 0.9 for 72 months. I can't emphasize how good that is. They don't do that in the car business. There's usually 36 months on a rate that low. So for 72, man, you can get a really affordable note. You could afford a second car at 0.9 for 72. Look, get out there and see why it is the compact crossover that's built for you. Plus, you're going to get 1 year of basic maintenance included on your new vehicle when you purchase it at Mazda Jackson. Shop them online at the locally owned MazdaJackson.com or swing by and see them in person and tell them I said hello right there. I-55 at Briarwood Drive. That's Mazda of Jackson. Let's go to the phone over here. We got Fred Shanks, state rep, Brandon, Mississippi, and other little parts of Rankin County there. Fred, good morning.
What's going on, buddy? How you doing, Clay?
Man, same thing, different day, brother. Trying to get to the end of the week, get home, and get hunkered down for this storm.
Oh yeah, man, ice apocalypse coming. You know.
I mean, look, we have survivalist skills like no other here in the South and in Mississippi in particular, and we can survive a lot of things. But one thing that brings us to our knees and shuts this whole place down for unforeseeable amounts of time is ice.
That's right, man. A lot of people can't drive anyway. Throwing a little ice especially black ice, we got problems.
But you know what's funny is, I mean, Minnesota is a cold weather state, and they are not dealing well with ice right now.
You are correct, sir.
That's a different kind of ice. I'm sorry, a different kind of ice.
Yeah. Look, the ice is getting them,
and we welcome an ice storm like that.
Oh yeah. In fact, yesterday, the good senator was on talking about just that. So
yeah, McClendon. Yeah, I guess we had that interview with Michael McClendon yesterday, who dropped that Glacier Act bill, which is a great name for it too. It's not just ice; it's a glacier. I like it. Fred, so speaking of bills, so we're going to be doing a weekly segment with Fred, whether, schedules permitting, but Fred's going to come on Fridays, and we're going to do a segment or so talking about what's going on down at the Capitol during session here. We started this last week and figured why not just continue. We both enjoyed it and got a lot of information out of it. Fred dropped a bill, and I like this one a lot. We're going to talk about two different NIL bills here. There's the one Fred dropped would eliminate the income tax, the state income tax on these college students that are making NIL money, to give Mississippi a little advantage, just a little advantage over some of these other states around us and some of these other competing schools, because we don't have billionaire sugar daddies at State and Ole Miss or any of the other colleges in the state as far as I know. Yeah.
No, I mean, Clay, you pretty much summed it right up. I think it's going to give us an advantage, and it certainly will give, a college player if they're wanting to come to Mississippi, give them just a little bit more of an option on, and I mean, look, the NIL money, I mean, I know a lot of people probably don't like it anyway, but it's here. And, so we need to be proactive about how we, do that. And I think doing something like this would entice maybe some good players. And just like you said, I mean, we don't, our schools don't have quite the money that some of these other schools have to do. So that's just a little bit more of an incentive for, players to come here. Well, I think it's going to work out great.
It's no different than doing these business incentives, these tax incentives for these big major corporations to come build these data centers or anything else here. The other states are recruiting businesses, and people call it corporate welfare or whatever. Well, do you want these jobs or not? Do you want this tax base or not?
You got to do what you got to do to get them in here, because look, they can easily just go elsewhere. I mean, they're the ones kind of holding the cards. You got to sweeten the deal for them, and it's very similar. You're exactly right. It's a good point. It's very similar to what this bill would do. In fact, I was eating dinner with Rep. Jonathan McMillan, who's in Madison, and he's also I didn't know it, but he's dropping a similar bill to the one I have. So we're really going to team up on that, and feel good about getting something through.
Now, there's another NIL bill that dropped the other day that it's just been clearly it's not gonna pass, but it's fun to talk about. And this high school NIL. I mean, Fred, I'm a capitalist. I'm not against these kids figuring out a way for these high school kids to make some money on name, image, likeness to an extent, but bro, it would destroy the public school system. These high-end private schools are going to come in and poach every good player possible. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong; they'd still be able to field teams and stuff, but you're going to see a shift, a balance of power shift to the private schools like we've never seen.
Yeah, you've got that, and then I've kind of looked into it a little bit, and apparently, people are leaving to go because they do this at some high schools in other states. So you've got a problem of kids leaving to basically just to go get money. Yeah. And, leaving the state. And, I've got a lot of questions on that. And one, like you said, I mean, this thing is not going anywhere. But, the thought of you got parents involved and you got kids who are under 18. You got a lot of, problems you got to get through. It just, I don't see how it would work. I think it would destroy high school sports is what I think.
Well, I think, too, you're going to not destroy high school sports. You're going to destroy the high school experience for some of these players because let's just be honest here. You're going to have some low-income, single-parent houses that has got a good athlete in them. And mama's going to be saying, or dad, whatever, but mostly single moms, let's be honest, going to be saying, my baby can make $10,000 get paid at the end of this, for this 1 year, man, that $10,000 goes a long way for 2 months of football, and then or 3 months, whatever, and then whatever else they want to overpay them that goes into a checking account that they can get after their eligibility expires or they turn 18, whichever comes first.
Yeah.
So, and I just think that, well, all right, so this year we made $10,000 as a freshman after being identified early on that they're going to be a star. Then, well, let's transfer from Provine to Pearl. Well, then let's say you have a great freshman year at Pearl. Well, hey, this guy over here at JA is offering us $20,000 to come over to play at JA. And then, well, you have a great year at JA. Well, now Jackson Prep says, we'll offer you 30.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just using round numbers here in different schools. I'm making all this up. But you could literally bounce to 4 schools in 4 years and then have nothing to show for it at the end of it because mama's done blown the money and you didn't have any continuity of coaching. You're not going to get a scholarship or you're going to have to go play at JUCO and go the hard way. Kids are going to get taken advantage of more than they are going to make money and profit from this.
Well, and that your last point's a good point because here come the lawyers, here come the so-called agents who's their buddy down the street,
the
who
flesh
knows
peddlers
nothing about finances, and then next thing you know, all the money's gone.
Well, we've seen this. We've seen another version of this, like with AAU basketball coaches and teams, and them just kind of them guiding these players to different schools based on how they're getting paid. Like some of these AAU teams are sponsored by Nike. Well, Nike's going to want that player from that team to go to a school that's a Nike school. I mean, there's great documentaries about all this, and that's without quote unquote the player had even being paid before. That was predated NIL. So it's going to be bad.
I mean, it's kind of rife with just problems. And one thing, and you brought this bill up, but I've noticed this year, and a friend of mine pointed this out. But the media has really focused on a lot of bills that have absolutely no chance of even getting through a committee, much less, going through the whole process and actually becoming a law. And it's got people really stirred up, this being one of them. And the taser bill, I know a lot of people, you've seen that on social media.
I talked about it on the show.
About it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that bill's going nowhere. And, it's ludicrous. I mean, taking tasers away from police officers, that's insane. But I've just noticed, for whatever reason this year, the kind of the talking heads, the media have just really, really pushed that. And I just kind of found it interesting why they would push all these, kind of bills like that.
Yeah, because, the only...
Literally, I tell you what, for all your listeners who are listening, the big thing to do is to get the bill number, look it up, which is easy to do. You go to Mississippi House of Representatives, type in the number, it'll pull up all the information, and you find out who the author is. And that will tell you a lot as to whether that bill actually has somewhat of a chance or doesn't. Because at the first part of the session, we'll have 3,500 to 4,000 bills. And, pretty much by mid-session, 85% of those are out, So just kind of interesting.
It is. So, like for me, for example, the ones I pick to talk about are the ones that I see on the news. I don't go through the bills and start plucking through. Like whichever ones the media, like the mainstream media pluck out and make juicy headlines. Well, those are the ones I want to discuss because they're the ones that kind of drive the train a little bit and get everybody fired up. And meanwhile, that does create a distraction to get other stuff passed through that we should probably be paying more attention to. But it's entertainment nonetheless.
What about the House Bill 828, which is the dog hunting bill?
I was about to ask about that. It? So I got tagged on that a million times on social media, and admittingly, I opted out of creating my own opinion on it because I don't hunt, and I don't know if any of that's good or bad. But based on the hunters that reached out to me, and you and Andy Gibson and others, I haven't seen anybody that hunts suggest that this was a good idea.
No, I'm like you. I've hunted a few times. I don't really have time to do it now. But and I've never used dogs before, but I got 100 phone calls on that. And by the way, to any hunters who are listening, that bill is dead as a hammer. It is going absolutely nowhere. But that's one has stirred up so much. That's one of the few. That's got to be one of my top 3 that I've seen that has stirred up so many people.
You don't want to get the rednecks stirred up.
No. No, you don't. And I am one.
Yeah, me too. I'm a concrete redneck, but I'm a redneck nonetheless.
Cowboy. Concrete cowboy.
Concrete
That's
cowboy.
what we are.
But at the end of the day, I'm from Mississippi. I don't care who you are. You're from Mississippi, you're a redneck. You might not want to be, but you're a redneck.
Yeah, that's right.
Fred, you got time?
Right.
You got time to do another segment?
Sure, man. Sure. Right. I'll hang out.
All right, let's take a break. Come back. I want to talk to Fred about this text that went out about him and some of the people that voted no on school choice, and what could be the long-term ramifications of them burning that bridge with a guy like Fred Shanks and some others. Let's take a break. We'll be right back here live on the Clay Edwards Show. If y'all got a question for Representative Shanks, shoot me a text on the Mazda Jackson text line. I'm sorry, the Ellis Autoplex text line at 769-241-1944, and I'll try to get it in before we get out of here. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. Real quick, guys, get over to Martin's, Livingston, or downtown Jackson today. It's a fried chicken Friday on the Blue Plate, and you can check out Martin's Facebook pages for all the live entertainment coming up, or just go straight to the website at martinsdowntownjxn.com for the full listing of all the live entertainment. And they got some great live entertainment coming downtown to the big venue there, including a big Guns N' Roses tribute band coming up here soon in February. So check that out. If you're looking for somewhere else to eat, McBee's Bar and Grill right there in Ridgeland. It's a fried catfish Friday, Mississippi raised catfish. Of course, they got some other items available: country fried steak, hamburger steak, or grilled chicken if you prefer that. And of course, the full menu is always available there. Get one of their award-winning burgers. The BLT is phenomenal. The melt is phenomenal. And, of course, I love the red beans and rice with the country pleasing sausage. Also, Burgers Blues Barbecue, 3 great locations to serve you today. Madison, downtown Brandon, and, of course, the newest location right there in Dogwood, right in front of Dick's Sporting Goods. It is a fried catfish day there as well. And I think you can also get red beans and rice any day. Or, of course, one of their award-winning burgers, the buffalo chicken wrap, the Nashville hot wings, or any other flavor. Check them all out. We got a lot of great sponsors, serving a lot of great food. Get out, support them this weekend. All right, man, let's go back to the phone line here. This interview is brought to you by Mazda of Jackson. We got State Rep Fred Shanks on the line. Fred, we got about 8 minutes left here. Let's jump into it. Okay. So this text, they sent these texts out, this group out of Wisconsin, I believe.
Right.
They sent these texts out the night before the vote to try to get people
Oh, yeah, they did. They sent a Trump. It was a message the night before. They had a picture of Trump, which obviously had nothing to do with it. It wasn't sanctioned by Trump, and it does this, please call, and it would have my name, and it had my cell number, and it was sent to my district. And then you got one.
Yep.
And, it said, please tell Shanks to vote yes on school choice. Well, obviously I was a no, and, and I got a few texts on it, and I called the people right back and said, this is not necessarily, this is not Trump texting you. I think some of the older people were a little confused about it, and kind of explained some things. And but look, my district, the people that voted for me, that sent me to the Capitol, that's what they wanted. They wanted me to vote no. I had done a lot of work on it, and talked to hundreds of people, and that's why I voted the way I did. And then there was after the vote, I think a day or two ago, an additional text got sent out. And this text says that, it's kind of bashing me for voting the way I did, saying I voted against Trump. Interestingly enough, I was Trump's chairman in Rankin County. So it's not like I'm not a Trump supporter, and it really kind of pissed me off that, and I think this is probably where you're going, but this thing is far from over, this bill, so why would conservatives bash conservatives when you're going to need, you like, am I really going to help you now?
Yeah, there's going to be clearly
help you with this.
I think it's safe to say, and I said this the day after it passed. Mm-hmm. It's going to go to the Senate in its current state. It's most likely going to get shot down, especially after those guys on the Senate side saw the hell that the Republicans that voted for it got.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Oh, I don't want that smoke." So, but I think you're going to see some sort of negotiation come down here before the end of session. I'd be shocked if you don't, because clearly, as it sits, it ain't happening. So, and that negotiation is going to have to be voted on. So do you want to go? Do you want to go burn this bridge completely with these reps that voted no, trying to bully them into voting yes? If you're a quote unquote conservative group, I would think that long term, it's one thing for a radio host to get on here and go scorched earth about stuff. I don't have a vested interest financially outside of my tax dollars in what they vote on. But these groups that are doing this clearly have a vested interest. They're being paid by somebody to do this.
Correct.
And I think it's a bad play.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's dirty politics, and to be honest, it really blew up on them because what they're saying, well, Fred, you aren't with Trump. But then they're also saying to all my supporters. Yep. And that's really got them cranked up because I got a lot of texts from my people in my district, and they're like, I got that text. I reported it as spam. It's garbage, that kind of stuff. But one, they get to see how tense it was for me to vote the way I did, what we were up against. And then two, it's also reflecting on them saying, well, if you supported Fred, you voted for Fred, then you're also not a Trump supporter. You're not a conservative.
Well,
and
I
that's
think
not the case, but it's saying that.
Well, I think the other question you got to ask is why is out-of-state dark money interfering in this bill? And I mean that happens a lot, and it's one of the reasons that they're scared to put abortion on the ballot initiative is because they're scared of all the out-of-state Democrat groups that'll come in and dump money in. But the same people who don't want abortion on the ballot because of that are the same people that are pushing school choice. So just food for thought there. They want their freedom, they want their choice when it fits their agenda, which I'm not a fan of at all. But that aside, it's clearly a lot of money that's going to be made with these charter schools or private schools if this bill gets passed. And these people who are pushing for this are going to be the ones that in fact make that money.
Yeah, and you made a good point. Like California would be, like when you brought the abortion issue, California, and I went to a bunch of different events where we talked about like ballot initiative stuff a couple of years ago when I did it for 3 years. But California is waiting on Mississippi to open that up because California and all their different groups would love to control a southern state, and they got the money to do it. It doesn't matter. So that absolutely would happen. They would put that on there. But to your point, you mentioned dark money. Well, I did get a little phone call last night, and it's a good friend of mine. I'm not going to say his name, and he's real connected. And he happened to look up one of the guys that was listed that we found that was behind the text message. And that guy was in the national news story about dark money, and he's tied to somebody here in Mississippi. And then there was another name that popped up who that guy used to work for an agency here in Mississippi who doesn't live in the state anymore, and that connects to another guy. So anyway, regardless, I found out who's behind it. I'm not going to say right now, but somebody did ask me last night that they would love to talk to you about it, and I'm going to set that up. Obviously you and I will talk off air, but it's just kind of funny how things work out. This all happened late last night.
My buddy Roger chimed in on X because it makes Fred look like he's against school teacher pay raises, which we know he's not. Real Fred supporters know who he really is. Yeah, and also that wasn't a teacher pay raise. That was an assistant teacher pay raise.
Correct.
And they're working on a whole other bill for that.
Yeah, and like he sees it, and what that does is they put that in the bill to kind of twist your arm a little bit to support it because it would make you it makes you. Optically, it looks like, well, he didn't support the bill, therefore he didn't support that one specific part of it. Well, I mean, I'm telling you, teacher pay raises, I mean, they're coming anyway. They're going to be separated. And, but yeah, I mean, and that happens a lot. I mean, it's a strategy move, load a bill up with things like that help people. And then, and in fact, when we were discussing the bill, the Democrats wanted to put an amendment and give the teacher pay raise, like make it like, $10,000, $15,000. And they won't, and they know it's not going to pass. It's an amendment to a bill. It will get worked out later, but they want you to be on record voting no when you're really not. It's more procedural, I guess.
Sure. Well, I heard
good point. He sees what's going on.
Sure. I heard Michael Guest talk about this a couple of years back about these omnibus bills, and people were Michael Guest voted to fund abortion or to fund Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I wasn't going to let them say that I voted to not pay the military because they put the defense budget in there too. So he's like, so I either don't fund the military and soldiers, or I fund Planned Parenthood. I mean, I can't win from losing.
Exactly. And I mean, and I'm sure that little one paragraph about that was on page, 3,800, it's a catch-22, and that's just kind of how things work. But, I do anticipate a separate pay raise for teachers. Yeah. And that was actually one of the things I brought up when I was speaking to my people here, is like, I would tell them, I'm like, there's probably going to be a teacher pay raise put in that bill, which, like you said, it was an assistant teacher pay raise. But the common theme was, we don't care. Vote no. We do not want this.
The teachers didn't want it. The teachers are the ones that are pushing the anti-school choice stuff more than anybody. And they were trying to put that in there to force them to like, well, you know what? I'll shut up if I can get a pay raise. They were trying to bribe them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Fred, look, and we're out of time, brother. I appreciate you. Everybody can find Fred. Just search Fred Shanks on Facebook. He takes all messages. Right. He responds to everybody. Yep. And if you got any questions, want to talk to Fred, if he's on X also, just at Fred Shanks. And but Facebook Messenger is probably the best way to get in touch with him. Fred, I appreciate you jumping in on a Friday, brother. Holler at me when you get done today.
Will do, buddy. Talk to you later. Thanks.
Bye. All right, we got to take a break. We'll be right back to land the plane for the day. This is the Clay Edwards Show. All right, guys. Man, that was a hell of a segment there. That was good. That was good stuff. That was good shit. To quote Vince McMahon, that's good shit. All right, man. Hey, thank you all. Salute to the FAFO Army. Love everybody. Great week of shows. I'll see y'all back maybe Monday, depending on weather. I ain't driving across town in ice. But Tuesday for sure. So we'll see. We'll play it by ear. As long as my internet works at the house, I'm doing a show, whether it's here at the radio station or on the internet. But if I got power Monday, there'll be a show. If I don't, well, there won't. Y'all have a blessed weekend. Y'all enjoy yourselves. Stay warm, hunker down, and y'all quit reporting them fake tips to the ICE hotline.